Business with a servant's heart. Welcome to the podcast. Inspiration, motivation takes. Listen to the podcast. We're all about to talk about life. Our guests will share their life story. We want you to success in life and business. We're ready and we will start shortly. We're gonna talk about life. We're going to speak on business. You're gonna shine bright. We are going to witness. Business with a servant's heart. With hosts Steve, Ramona, and Ray. Inspiration, education talks. Listen to the podcast. Steve, Ramona.
Welcome, everyone, to Doing Business with the Servant's Heart podcast. I'm your host, Steve Ramona. I am so thrilled to have you join us today. We've dedicated this podcast to exploring the idea of doing your life and doing business with a purpose, and the purpose being a servant's heart. My guests are going to motivate you, inspire you, and educate you in different ways, stories, how they've served others, how they overcome obstacles serving, how they just bring value to people, because that's what a servant does, is bring value. Your call to action today, audience, is think about how you're going to serve yourself and others today and what that impact looks like today. Keyword again is today. A lot of people reach out and go, I haven't done it yet. It's been a month. I keep hearing your message. Start today after you listen to this incredible podcast and my incredible guest. And I guarantee you're going to be happy you did that, because you're going to feel really good. I get to do this every day, so it's pretty powerful. And I want to thank my sponsor, Pantheon Alliance. You can join a community of high-income entrepreneurs and business leaders who are building a thought leader platform to help everybody grow and make an impact in the world. For more information on Pantheon, just reach out to me and I'll get you all the information you need. With that being said, we're going to talk about mental fitness, leadership, and how that all ties together, but a unique way, using software to really help you, to make it easier and help you grow faster. So let's welcome to our show, Trixie. Welcome.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you for having me.
So why does somebody get into mindset coaching, or whatever you want to call it?
Because they have tried different things to quiet their anxiety, to live a more purposeful life. Now, that's kind of generic. I specifically work with people that are in the third quarter of life, and there's specific issues that we're tackling. I'm in the third quarter of my life. But, rationally up here, we know what's good for us. We know where we should spend our time and energy. But there is this part, the emotional brain, that gets in the way. And people often show up and say, I know this about myself. I should be doing this. I could be doing this. And when I ask them, well, what gets in the way? They say, I have no idea. Well, I know what gets in the way is the lack of mental fitness. So whenever we want to make a significant, lasting change in our life, we need to change how fit we are mentally. And by mentally, it's actually emotional fitness.
Yeah. Dive into that mental fitness. It's a newer phrase. I've heard it. I was in the fitness industry for 20 years. We talked about that as well. But talk about mental health, mental fitness, how that works.
Yeah. So I'm an occasional runner, right? So if there's a 5K race coming up, I got to train up a little bit, but I can do it. If I want to run a marathon, I really have to go to a boot camp. And it's the same with mental fitness. We often use the analogy, if you've never bench pressed, you start with very, very small weights. And it's the same with mental fitness. So when we want to tackle a problem, we're not going to tackle the most biggest important thing in our life. We really want to start with little things. So mental fitness, you can practice on how you behave in the grocery store, how you behave when you're stuck in traffic. It's the little things. And then building up your mental fitness to when that big event comes, or that big scary decision, you're ready for it.
Yeah. And it sounds like when I have a to-do list of 10 things, take off the easiest ones there, because when I look at my list, there's only 5 left instead of 10. Kind of the same analogy.
Yeah.
Your mind can handle it more because there's less to work through. Interesting. Never heard that. That's really good. Well, how's that tie into leadership? If my mental fitness is at the top of its game, how's that tied to my leadership skills?
You're on purpose. You have
Purpose.
that focused action. You're not distracted by your self-doubts. Have I done all my research? Is this the right decision? What if? No, you have really looked at the information. You're able to listen to your own gut. And then when you're ready to go into that battle, whatever it is, that laser focused action. So it's the idea of a ninja warrior, when they're ready, nothing will distract them.
Yeah, that's powerful. Accountability's got to be a big part of this.
Yeah.
And that's what you bring to the table, amongst other things, but that's a big part of it, I think, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
When it comes to your background, I believe you sold medical devices, if I remember right.
Yeah, a long time ago.
How'd that help you get to where you are today?
Well, first of all, I always had a fascination with the brain. So it's a long time ago, I was involved in the first 3D brain scans because you had all this data and it was 2D slices and slices that the radiologist would look at from a CT or an MRI scan. And the company I worked for was leading edge at the time. They converted into a 3D image. So I was the CEO of the company, was a neurosurgeon. I did a lot of work with doctors. I was always fascinated with the brain. And incidentally, then functional imaging started. And everything we know about emotions today can be visualized in functional imaging. So, in a way, it has helped me. What has also helped me is that I all of a sudden was forced into becoming a manager. I never wanted to be a manager. I was in sales and business development. I loved running my show. I always say sales is the best job if you just want to be an entrepreneur with a paycheck, because as long as you deliver your numbers, you're good. You don't ever have to write a report. You don't ever have to justify what you're doing. And so I loved sales. And then at some point in my career, I was more or less forced to take on a management position. And by forced, I just mean that my boss at the time said, "Hey, I need your help. Please take this on." And I was surprised. I loved being a manager. And then later on, I moved into mergers and acquisitions, and I had to deal with a variety of businesses. I mean, talk about medical devices. All of a sudden, it was information systems, it was automotive devices. Like I had no chance to ever understand what these people were doing. And that's when I switched to, well, I can listen to them. And that's eventually what led me to coaching. Whether you run an international sales team, I have no idea about doing business in Japan, but I can listen to the person who does it.
Yeah. Well, I learned a new superpower from you. Anybody that loves a management position has a superpower. Because I don't mean people love but I mean, it's good. It's great. And it's interesting. You're talking about you're in the X-ray medical device. Well, you have an app now that seems like it's an X-ray for my mental health, mental fitness. Talk about the app because it's very unique. You said you used it on some people and didn't, and got much better results when people work with the app. Talk about that and what the app is.
Yeah. So coaching is more or less like talk therapy. You tell me what you want to do, and I mirror it back to you. We come up with strategies, and then you go off and do your thing. And chances are you can't do your thing because you're trying to change a habit, get on top of your inner judge. It always whispers the wrong thing into your ear. So the app is called Positive Intelligence Mental Fitness. And I'm one of a large number of coaches that have been trained to use it. So runs on your phone, runs on your laptop. The idea here is that for an initial 6 weeks, you go to this intense boot camp. So just like you would go to a fitness gym with a personal trainer, you take this app and every day you're prompted to do your workouts. You also learn a lot of the theory behind mental fitness. What is the left side of our brain that's very judgmental, stuck in the old ways? Where's the right side of our brain that is where empathy and curiosity lives? So you just learn all the theory behind it. And then going to the exercises, you actually practice it. And In a way, you could say it's meditation with a different twist, but a lot of my clients are in tech or management, and meditation is something that you do at the end of yoga class, or at the end of the day, you light a candle and have nice quiet time. That's all great, but it needs to happen throughout the day. When you're stressed, when you're in that meeting and you just feel your blood pressure rising, the app teaches people, oh, first of all, something is going on, and then how to bring the temperature down right here and now. I can do a PQ rep, it's called a positive intelligence repetition. I can do it right now without you noticing me. If I'm nervous about talking to you, I just find all my 10 toes on the floor. That grounds me.
Does this app work where as I'm feeding it data, you're seeing it, or do you follow up and have these regular meetings go, okay, let's check your report, I don't know what words you use, on the app and see what's happening? Does it work both ways, or one of the two?
Yeah, it goes both ways. Yeah,
Oh,
both.
wow.
So I have access to your data on the backside, and I disclose that. And if you don't want that, you can turn it off.
Yeah.
But still, I work with you one-on-one every week, because just going through the program, your inner judge is going to get really angry at this program. And anytime you're not doing perfect practice, that voice will tell you, who are you? What you think this is going to help you? Or if you haven't done your practice perfectly, don't even try. So it's really important that I work with you, particularly in those initial few weeks, to not let you go down the wrong way. You might also be confused. It's an app. It's not like 100% for everyone. So I will guide you through and say, well, maybe watch this video, maybe watch that video. If this one doesn't work for you, it's okay.
Yeah. So using the app, does it work this way? If I'm walking into a big meeting and say I want to sign a big contract, or a stressful meeting, maybe it's whether I'm going to keep my job, whatever that looks like, can I jump on the app and use the features there, and you can see it real time and maybe recognize, oh my God, Steve's going into this meeting. You can send me a text or whatever way you communicate. Go, hey, remember your practice here. Remember doing this breathing or whatever it may be. Does it do that?
No, it's not in real time. It's not
Okay.
like it prompts me.
That's all right.
But what I do with my clients is, they all have a WhatsApp communication with
Yeah.
me. So they can check in with me. What I do see is, what do they use the app or not? What do they do the exercises? So this little red flag pops up. But the whole purpose is that initially you do the things with the app open, but as you get more used to it, you can do it independent. So this is really important, that I can be in this meeting without having to open my phone. I can say, my hands are in my lap right now. Okay, so if I'm nervous, I can just check out, move my fingertips around. You don't see that. It grounds me, right? It's anytime you move out of your head into some sort of bodily sensation, that's a mental exercise. Simple exercises are a long exhale. Everyone understands that calms your nervous system, but are you actually doing it when you do it?
Yeah. And God, I wish fitness had an app that did that, because it's, you could be a private trainer and they come work out with you, but the other 2 days, are they really working out? And at least that they're yes or not doing their mental fitness. I'm loving this app. Can you give us a great success story, somebody you work with using the app, and what was the ROI of that?
Yeah. So a lot of what I do right now is working with people that are parents of young adults. And typically these are hyperachieving, successful people. Somehow a lot of them are men. I don't know why that is. I have the theory that men have less of a community to work on these issues, but it's just an aside note. So, for example, one of my clients was in a very challenging situation with his son. And his son used to be like this all-star, baseball star. Things went bad in the family, divorce, parents separated, and the son became the battleground, as it often happens, right? And when you are a high achieving adult, the parent, you're so used to taking control. Like you go in and you fix it. You tell your child, this is how this is going to go down. This is how we're going to fix it. And some children will react to that obediently, but not from the heart. Many children will rebel against it because, hey, mom and dad just messed up their marriage. Who are you to tell me what to do?
Yeah.
Who are you to tell me that I should pursue the life that you had because look where you are now?
Yeah. I love it. That's a great story. So, and it's important. Parents have a hard job. I'm just going to flat out say it. It's not. I know people say, "Well, you're 63, you can't go back 40," but the internet. I don't have to go over all that. What's some of the tips that parents are listening? I do have a lot of parents listen for them with those young adults and dealing with them.
First of all, stop what you're doing right now because obviously it's not working.
Oh.
Stop giving advice. If your children are willing to have a conversation, think about, who do they need you to be? You can design a relationship with your kids, just like you design a relationship with your spouse, hopefully. What are some of the most important things? How can we support each other? Now, I also work with young adults, in my corporate coaching practice. And what I hear from them is, I want my parents to understand that our generation is different. I want to come to them with my problems at work, in my love life, without being judged based on their values. The world has changed. You can be successful with 3 side gigs today. You don't have to work in the corporate world anymore. I mean, even look at the Wall Street Journal just had this article about even Harvard MBAs have a hard time finding jobs now. So our children's generation is different. And the one advice I would have to parents is be deeply curious what the world looks like from their perspective.
Ask questions too. It sounds like too with your young adults.
Yeah. Yeah. Ask questions and stop giving advice.
Yeah, that's a great tip. Audience, there you go. Kids can be $1 million victory if you get great tips like that because it makes it easier. I love joy. Doing business with a servant's heart gives me joy. People I work with, it's joy. How does joy play a role in this leadership mental fitness aspect?
I see how people get better, and a lot of it is around anxiety. So when something really, really heavy happens in your life, like, you're all-star athlete flunking out of college, parents have really profound anxiety about that. The worst case scenario is that child is going to be out on the street, right?
Yeah,
And we see it. It can happen.
yeah.
So helping people conquer their anxiety, that gives me joy. And it's not about the absence of anxiety. It's about lessening it. You go from 5 attacks a day to maybe 1. You go from waking up in the middle of the night and thinking the world is going to end to being able to, okay, I just need to breathe, maybe turn on the app, maybe listen to some of the exercises. Really, life doesn't have to be so scary and anxious. That's what gives me joy, is to help people rein it in. Now, it's never going to be absent, but resilience is the speed of recovery.
Yeah. And life is ups and downs. People you heard it millions of times, but we got here a million more times because people still struggle with it and understand it, but don't live it. Coming to the end here, what does Trixie's coaching program look like in the next 3 to 5 years?
Well, I work with parents who want to change themselves first.
Mm-hmm.
So if you come to me, you start working in a 10-week program. First 6 weeks, intense workout in the app, in parallel one-on-one coaching sessions with me. And after the 10 weeks, you decide if you're good to go or if you want to have a deeper dive. I have done this for 4 years myself now. That's when I started working with the app. I think what I see in my clients is that gradual relief, that gradual connection with your inner self. The ultimate goal is that we can love ourselves. I mean, that's the
Amen.
holy grail. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know anybody who is there, but we're getting better at it. And by that, I mean unconditional self-love. You know, we can be proud of, oh, I did this today, that today, but just waking up in the morning and saying, I'm enough, really mean it.
Yeah. Inner self's great because it's the soul. We all have it.
Yeah.
Just got to get it out and I want to say play with it. That's probably the wrong word, but enjoy it, work with it, like with the app and with you, and find those, because we're all different. Our souls are all different. So many things are part of that. Let's end with a fun little, I like to end with this fun question, because we got serious there, which is really good. And I appreciate you, because this is great, because parents need all the tools they can get. And, talking to them, I've talked to parents and owners. It's like, because there's no work-life balance. There's always going to be this, and that's where you come in. Hey, you got a challenge here. Let's work out through the app. So you're just love what you're doing. So I've got a reservation at a restaurant for you, table of 4. You're obviously going to sit in one of the chairs. Who would you invite, dead or alive, doesn't matter. Why would you invite them to sit at that table, and what food would you order?
So there's only 3 more people.
3 more people.
Oh, okay. Well, I would invite my 2 children.
And we could say that's 1. If you want to, family is 1, definitely.
Okay, but specifically my children.
Okay.
I would invite Shirzad Shamin, who is the founder of Positive Intelligence, because I've never really met him in person. I see him on video every week, but I've never met him in person. And who else would I invite? How about Steve Ramona?
I'd love to be at that table, because I want to hear what this guy has to say. I'd love to meet your wonderful daughters. You have 2 daughters, right? Is that what you said? No,
I have a daughter
2
and a
kids.
son.
Daughter and a son. You said 2 children. Yeah, I'd love to meet them. I don't have kids myself, so I can adopt them once in a while, I'm sure. Well, they're older, so it'd be more just a friendship. So we're sitting at the table. Now I'm sitting at the table. What are we eating? Your choice.
I love all kinds of seafood. If you're into raw oysters, I would order that.
Okay.
I might pair that with some champagne.
All right. That's I can't think of the word. Not powerful meal. It's not the word I'm thinking. Rich meal, which is great. I used to shuck oysters. I used to run a restaurant, shuck oysters. So I know all about that. People love their oysters. Oh my gosh. They're great.
Yeah.
I want to thank you. Your humbleness and wanting to help people, especially parents, which, as I said earlier, is so important. I love what you're doing. People listen. I'm sure parents are thinking, hey, how can I get a hold of Trixie? How can they reach out to you?
Well, I do a lot of my stuff on Instagram. It's called Q3, so the letter Q and the number 3, Q3 in life. If you're not on Instagram, you can find me on LinkedIn. The name of my company is Red Pants Coaching. So those are ways to connect with me.
Love that name. Such a great name. Thank you so much, Trixie, for being on. This has been such a blessing. Audience, I know you've been blessed. Here's your call to action in the end. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Not for what you think. I truly think this podcast is a gift. You're listening, going, God, my friend needs to listen to Trixie. She's a parent. She's struggling. She's so successful in her business, but failing in life, or whatever it may be. Send this link to them. When you subscribe, you'll get the link and send it to them going, hey, check Trixie out. I think she can help you. And here's the quick journey. They listen, they go, and they reach out to Trixie on Instagram or wherever, either become a client or Trixie gives them a couple tips. You just help somebody. You made an impact in their lives through Trixie, through me in the podcast. That's what I truly believe a podcast is a gift to give to people to really transform them. So go out and give those gifts, whether it's my podcast or others or other shows or this wonderful show. Just go out and give those gifts. And me and Trixie want to thank all of you for watching or listening to this podcast. And we'll see you all in the next episode of Doing Business with a Servant's Heart. Have a great day, everyone.